the name or the relationship between one person with another is clear what the interpretation is. It's much more complicated if you look at text, because usually you have to do a lot of cross analysis, right? So, but text, you find text everywhere in email, in insurance claim, news, or a scientific or document. Actually, I guess that most of you are interested in how can I deal with information from technical document, from paper, from scientific or technical paper, right? So from this perspective, we can actually there's no a common definition for text mining. A lot of people around the world claim to be doing text mining, but what they are doing in general is dealing with information access problems, which I said previously. So in general, the definition I like is that text mining can be seen as the collection of implicit, previously unknown, we have a big problem here, and potentially useful information from a large amount of different unstructured textual resources. The large amount of different documents is also a very interesting issue, because if you count I don't know, if you have a couple of documents, the knowledge discovery time will be much easier because you can do the task manually. So there's no problem at all, right? So one of the other complex things with text mining, which is a very multidisciplinary area, which involve several approaches and techniques from data mining, from natural language processing, from machine learning, and from statistics. But actually, one of the mistakes that have made a lot of people is to try to force text mining problem using data mining techniques. So that's the first problem. And one of the people who tried to do that are people who initially came from information retrieval, because they, in general, see text, natural language text, as a bag of words. So that is where the problem starts, right? For instance, but beyond that definition, it's important for us to understand the difference between what is text mining according to our definition and what is not text mining. If, for instance, if I'm using a search engine, for instance, Google, I don't have any preference, but I was looking for some information like the treatment of the E. coli. And actually, it's very sensitive, because if you are looking for a treatment for E. coli, or looking for anything, suddenly the system come up with the information, actually with the reference to the document in this case. So probably you would be very tempted to say, oh, my God, I didn't know that. Yes, but the truth is that you didn't know that, but the information is on the web. Actually, the problem for you is you didn't have a suitable method to get to there, right? But the information isn't there. But the thing is, I'm looking for instance, a treatment for E. coli. It could be very easy if you find an exact document which gives you information about the treatment of the E. coli. But actually, what about if not? So probably you need to retrieve the document, you need to click on every first document, and then you need to do some cross-analysis in order to come up with information that you're looking for, right? So in general, text mining is not an easy thing compared with traditional relational data mining, because obviously text is made of, is written in natural language, and language is ambiguous. We have a lot of problems. We have lexical problem, we have syntactical problem, we have semantic problem. You can recognize a phrase, but a phrase has different meanings depending on the context, and if you're working in history, and if you're working on finance or something like that, so the meaning for the same, even for the same word, could be completely different, right? So you have ambiguity in several language processing. Obviously, there are a lot of lexical, as I said before, a lot of lexical, syntactical, semantic, and discourse knowledge. And the most important thing as well is that a lot of linguistic information is needed to support this unseen pattern. So far, we haven't talked anything about how you discover unseen pattern, right? But most of the approach are dealing with text mining by assuming that you can track, for instance, keyword and the relationship with the system found between two keywords, two concepts. The thing that if you want to make a further decision, you usually are going to need more information. You need to be more informed in order to make a strong decision. For instance, if you find the concept sales and the concept umbrella, probably a very good state-of-the-art data mining technique is going to tell you that is going to be a very strong connection between these two concepts. Actually, that is very good. But if you want to use it in practical terms, you need more information, because that means that, okay, I get a company which sells umbrellas, and umbrella is related with the climate, and my sales goes down when it's summer, or so you start doing your own interpretation. But in order to do that, you need more information. And just using keywords, or in general a word-based system, is not going to give you that information, right? So, so what kind of knowledge are we interested in? The kind of information that even the author of a document doesn't even know. And obviously, we can stand here and think about, well, but it is just one author. We're talking about several or thousands of documents. So probably if one author look at the document, can extract useful information. But I doubt that one person is going to do that task for thousands of documents, right? So what is the kind of discovery we are after? For instance, in order to differentiate from the Google example, so we have some very good examples of discovery tasks in terms of text analysis. For instance, I want to find a plausible hypothesis about the treatment of a disease by analyzing medicine-related paper or technical document. So that is a very good example. You need a bunch of documents. You don't get the answer just by looking at one document. You need the whole set of documents, right? You have to get in mind hidden patterns which underlie complaint of a lot of customers. Complaints of natural language, so very short natural language text. So there should be some common pattern between all these complaints of my customers. So can I get hidden pattern about what the customer are trying to say? For instance, the other case are to find common emotion of user giving their opinion on web blog. So one guy in a blog said that he didn't like this presidential candidate, and the other guy said that he didn't like actually, but has some problem, has some questions. So there is some emotion actually which underlie the blogs, and the blog is a kind of text as well. Obviously, it's not like a full technical paper, but it's a kind of natural language text as well, right? So what do we need in order to deal with text mining? Is to first of all understand written language. Understand written language is out of our hands with the current technology. So what we can do is to do some more simple subtasks. For instance, we could disambiguate word sense. We have a lot of lexical or semantical sense for the word. We can recognize phrases. But why I'm telling you this? Because usually when you deal with text, you assume that you have to understand the whole text. But the good thing for us is that for text mining purposes, I would like to get information of one part of the text, because the rest of the part is not important for me, right? So I can focus on one part of the text and then to try to analyze that partial segment of the text. So there is some general tool to do this kind of task, and that kind of technique is usually called information extraction. Unlike traditional natural language processing tasks, information extraction aims to extract some partial information from the text, the part that you are most interested in. And how you do that? You do that by using lexical information. You have to recognize where the words are and what the word means, etc. You have to understand a little bit of the syntactical pattern of the text that you are reading, or you are analyzing, and you have to understand what the phrases or what the words are meaning in a particular context.